Okay, so we're going to do our lessons online for a couple weeks, and just so you guys know, if you have any questions or concerns, or parents, if you need additional resources, please don't hesitate to reach out to me via email. Um, we'll be quick to respond. I'm also going to include a link on how to use the email to get tutoring online so that I can share the screen and help the students if they're stuck. Okay, really quick, let's review. And in class, we've been making lists of things. We've been talking about picturing a fraction. So we have this numerator, this number, over another number, the denominator. So fractions are what we're talking about when we talk about ratios. They're proportions. Fractions are division problems. We say, what does the fraction line mean? It means divide. Okay, fractions, we can change them into percents. We can change them into decimals. Our calculators can help us do that. Our 7th and 8th graders, our 6th graders, we do that by dividing. Okay, and proportions and ratios, we've been doing cross multiplication, so we're going to do that today. Here is a quick review of the ratios using the words. We've been talking about how important it is to use the words. Our example right here, we start with, it says, the ratio of boys to girls in the class was 5 to 4. So it gives us some information. It gives us boys, it gives us girls, and it gives us a little bit more. It says the ratio of boys to girls in the class was 5 to 4. So which one is boys? So boys is 5. And which one is girls? Girls is 4. Boys to girls, 5 to 4. So here's our girls 4. Now, it gives us additional information on this one. It says if there were 27 students in the class, how many girls were there? So it gives us another piece of information. Now, this is interesting. If I was going to write that additional piece of information, I need to include it in its correct spot. So let's say we wanted to just make a spot down here for total, the total students. Now, the total of everybody in the class was 27, not the total of my ratio, and this is where it gets confusing. So when we're filling this out and we start writing 5 and 4 and then total, we need to figure out what the total is. So how do we find out that total? Well, 5 plus 4 is 9. So that's the ratio. The ratio boys, the ratio girls, the ratio total. Now we're just going to find out in the class how many students were girls. So we knew that there was 27. Okay, there was 27 girls. So now there's a lot of ways we can fill this out. We can use cross multiplication. We can say, oh, I know what 9 times 3 is, because 9 times 3 is 27. So 4 times 3 would be 12, and 5 times 3 would be 15. Now, if you didn't see that, that we could do that to begin with, then you would have to say, okay, can I cross multiply? And you can, and here's how you fill it out. You say 4 times 27 divided by 9. And you're going to end up with that same 12. Okay, that same missing piece. So I'm going to do a few more just showing you how to fill out the words portion of this assignment. And then I'll go to another screen so that you can kind of see the math, cross multiplication, that review. Okay, this next problem says the ratio of football players to band members on the football field was 2 to 5. So again, we're going to fill it out. It says football players to band members. So let's write down football to band. And we've started now to need to be in the habit of writing total every time. We just need to make sure we can figure out which ones those are. And we did that last time. A lot of you, if you remember, we had a really good question first period, but it was what happens if we want more information than what they asked for. And we said, well, we can add this total. So let's go through, and it says football players to band members on the football field was 2 to 5. So football was 2 and band was 5. Oops. I don't know why it wants to do that. There we go. Okay, so football players to band members was 2 to 5. And now to find the total of the ratio portion, let's add them. So 2 plus 5 is 7. Okay, now it says altogether there were 175. So altogether 175. Now it says how many, that was with football players and band members. So how many football players were on the field? So this is the one that we want to find up here, is football players. Okay, so I'm going to use cross multiplication on this one to help me find this missing piece. I can say 2 times 175, that's 350, and you can write that down if you need to, but for sake of time, I'm going to tell you what it is. So 2 times 175 is 350. Now 350 divided by 7 is actually 50. And now we could use subtraction to find out what this missing number right here is. So we could say 175 minus 50 is 125, or we could have done the same thing. 5 times 175 divided by 7, and it would have also gave us 125. Okay, a few more examples. Let me show you, and then we will go on to another video. If you need additional help, you don't have a calculator, or you weren't understanding the cross multiplication, I have one more video for that. Okay, so it says 30% of the cars in the parade are antique cars. If 12 vehicles are antique cars, how many vehicles are in the parade in all? That's a little bit trickier. So let's see how to write down the numbers that we're looking for. So we got to find the missing words to begin with. Okay, so one of them that we do know is we do know that there's antique. Oh, how did I spell that? Antique. And then there's going to be not antique cars. It's kind of going to be one or the other for this case. And then there was a total. So there were some that were antique, some that were not antique, and then there was a total amount. So it says 30% of the cars in the parade are antique. So if 30% are antique, can you think for a second how many would be not antique? Okay, so if 30 are, think how much is total. So if we have everything all together, a whole circle, we have 100%. So how many are not antique? Most of you probably got 70. You were right. Okay, so now let's write down with numbers to figure out what this all means. So now it says, if 12 vehicles are antique cars, so 12 are antique, how many vehicles are in the parade in all? So are we looking for the not antique or the total? So that's kind of the question, and the question says in all. In all. So the in all means we're going to fill it in right here. So again, I think cross multiplication is going to be the easiest. 12 times 100 is 1200, and 1200 divided by 30 is 40. So, okay, so we can now figure out how many were not antique if that happened to be another question, or if you were just wondering. Because if there's 40 altogether and 12 are antique, then by using subtraction, we can find out how many are not antique. So 40 minus 12 is 28. Okay, so this last one I've kind of filled out for you just so that we can get through this lesson in hopefully less than 10 minutes. So this one, see where I put the numbers and see if you can see what it said. And this is something I encourage more than anything. Read these to yourself, talk to yourself, ask yourself, okay, only 40% of the team members played in the game. What information do I have? You have 40%, you have 100%, that's always going to be your total. And now that might trigger the fact that you need the not played in the game, the 60% that didn't play. The difference between that 40 and that 100 is that 60. So now let's finish filling out our chart. It says if 24 team members did not play, then how many did play? So the 24 was the not played. Okay, so these numbers I came up with by using cross multiplication, and let me show you what I did. And this is because I think I need to really clarify when we're cross multiplying, we multiply the two that we have that are diagonal from each other, and then we divide by the one that's opposite the one we don't have. So here's what this one would look like. Okay, we could say 40 times 24 divided by 60, and that will give us 16. We can say 40 times 40, 1600, divided by 100 and get 16. On any of these, we should be able to fill out the missing blanks by multiplying two diagonal and dividing by the one opposite. Okay, all right, the homework tonight comes from Saxon Math. It's lesson 101. It's on page 530, and there's lots and lots and lots of review questions. We are getting to the end of the year, so we just kind of have to know everything. Anything that you're stuck on, please contact me immediately and get with me and let me know. I want these two questions done. This is kind of going to be like the practice, the in-class practice. I need these two done very first. If you have questions on these, this is when you're getting with me because this is today's lesson. This is what I really need to know if you know. All right, good luck.